Everything I do in my business nothing was learned in medical school.
I just think that being an entrepreneur is the spot where you have to be the most faithful human
100%.
being out there, because you want something you haven't been able to experience or see a lot of the times.
I really believe in if you're out to do the right thing and you do it with integrity, there's someone above looking out for you.
I think as business owners, you got to learn how to
Rinse and repeat.
You want to make the most amount of money and pay the least amount of money at the end of the year. And honestly, that's...
If you don't lead well, then your business is not going to lead well. Your business family is not going to lead well.
What do you see yourself in the next 5 years? So you told me about soccer, huh?
Soccer,
your
man.
Boy.
Football. Yeah.
How was that workout? How was that, dude?
Oh man, it was great. You know, my son called Spain from the very beginning.
He did.
He did. He loves Messi, but he has a very big soft spot for Spain.
Well, tell him I dislike Messi very much.
Yeah.
I like Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the greatest because I think what he had accomplished, I think he was good at everything.
Yeah.
That's my thing with Cristiano.
Yeah.
Good at business, family.
Business, yeah.
Good with everything. Kicks, free kicks.
Yeah.
Lefty, right.
Yeah.
I mean, he was heading.
Everything.
He was good. He was good. That's my thing about Cristiano and Messi.
Yeah.
The World Cup, I think it was okay.
Yeah.
You know, everybody wanted Messi to get that second one, but
no, I mean I'm happy for Spain. You know, I like Lamine Yamal a lot. He's a good guy.
18 years old.
Yeah.
Huh? 19 years old now?
19.
That's
19.
crazy though.
Yeah.
What were you doing at 19 years old?
Enjoying my life.
Right? So let's start with this. Like, you went to school, obviously.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that. Let's go back to 18, 19 years old. What were you at?
So, you know, I grew up, you know, by background, I'm Indian, but I was born and brought up here in Florida. Okay. And, you know, we grew up about an hour from here in Lake County. So very, you know, not a heavily populated place like Orlando. So, you know, went to high school there, graduated. I actually graduated at the top of my class there as a high school kid, and then went to UF for undergrad. Mm-hmm. As undergrad, had a little bit too much fun, but you know, I did pretty decent, and I was there for 4 years. I had my major was in biology, microbiology, and then also I did some degrees in business and entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So that was kind of my start on the business side. I always had a business side of my life from my dad. He was always in small businesses and things like that growing up. So was always helping him. I learned the importance at that time that, you know, working for yourself is something that cannot be replicated. And so that's kind of always stuck to me. Went to med school at around age 22. Okay. I started at 21, 22, and then finished at 26. I went to FSU for medical school. So at that point, I'm about 26 when I finished. When I started residency. So residency is where you decide what you want to train in. So I did general surgery, which is a 5-year training program. I was in South Florida there until 30. And then I moved to Birmingham, Alabama for my fellowship training, where I did training in like minimally invasive surgery for bariatric surgery, you know, specialty GI surgery, things like that. That was for 1 year. And then I moved back here. So that kind of was my whole training, which put me about technically 31 is when I graduated, but really 32. And I was ready to start practice at that point.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So like from going to school to have too much fun to then be able to graduate on top of the class, becoming a surgeon, a great surgeon, by the way, to own your own practice. Do you think you learn more from school or from your dad? Because you say that your dad was the one that had the entrepreneurship mindset. What do you think about that?
Everything I do in my business was nothing was learned in medical school.
Is that you think that's a good thing or bad thing?
Terrible thing.
Okay.
Terrible thing. If it wasn't for my dad and my brother is also, you know, my older brother's an ophthalmologist, an eye surgeon here in town, and so he's the reason I moved back. Decided to move back to Orlando or Lake Nona and start my practice. So he had already done it in his field, and so I decided that our families are very close and we wanted to be close to home. So my wife and I and at that point my 6-month-old son, we decided we'll move here and start off and see what we can do.
Beautiful. Taking it from, there's a lot of people out there that go to school.
Yeah.
I did finance myself. I never went to school. I did finance at a car dealership. The point I'm trying to make here is during the time of that part of my life, I looked a lot into people's credit, and I will talk to doctors that will be $500,000 in debt, student debt, but yet making $150,000 a year. To me, it brought like a spark in my head. I'm like, well, I'm 22 years old and I didn't go to school, and I was making $200,000 a year, no debt whatsoever. It goes back to, sometimes a lot of people go to school, they happen to graduate, become surgeons, become any type of doctors or stuff like that, which is beautiful. We need it in this society. But it's a huge misconception there where people just graduate and start doing the things that they study for. But it's a huge gap from going from there to becoming the owner of the practice.
Yeah.
How do you put that together? Because a lot of people don't even get to do that. And that's the thing.
For me, it was, two things. One is that the easy way out certainly is to go get a job somewhere, work for a hospital, try to join a practice, something like that. For me, it was easy. You know, my degree, in my opinion, I did all this school, but really to me, it was a fallback. If I try to do something on my own and I fail, I can always go and get a job at a hospital somewhere.
Got it.
So I'd rather bet on myself and work hard for a few years and see if that works out better. If not, then I always have a fallback. So my degree was my fallback. So even though my degree is what I needed to do what I do right now, that is just what gets you through the day to day. But if I started my business and it didn't work out, I know I always had a way to support my family by getting a job somewhere.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting to me. To me, it was the opposite. This was the one thing, like running a business and having a business that runs successfully was the only plan that I had.
Yeah.
Instead, you said that was your fallback. So if this doesn't work out, you can go back to the other thing.
Yeah.
But you've done it incredibly well. Tell me more about your practice.
The thing is with just to clarify, I becoming a surgeon and doing that, becoming a physician, and then going into surgery is really important to me. At that point in my life during training, it wasn't about making money. It's about doing what I'm blessed to be able to do and help people.
Correct.
Now finishing training, deciding what the best way I can help people while maximizing that, and at the same time maximizing how I can help my family and loved ones. Because reality is that if I get a job somewhere, they don't care about my family like the way I care about my family. So that's the time. It was like time to bet on myself and start my own business. And if the business didn't work out, then I had a backup to do what I need to do. But so for me, it was really moving out here. This process of me deciding to start my own practice started when I was in fellowships. I wasn't even done with training, but I had decided then that, I'm going to be done in 9 months. And I kind of have to decide now, am I going to go looking for a job, interviewing with people, or what are my options? So I still remember it was, I flew down here and I started my fellowship program there in Birmingham in August. And I think I was down here October or November. We were here for a friend's wedding. And by that point, I had decided that I was going to come here with move close to my brother. And so that's when I was, Narcoossee this was 2017 when I was looking here. So there was nothing there, right? Yeah. So I was driving back and forth, and you as just comparatively speaking, you as a 30-year-old and me as a 30-year-old, two different people.
Got it.
You obviously have done very well for yourself. You have a life on your shoulders, but me, in my whole 20s, I still in my mind I was still a kid because I haven't done anything. I hadn't accomplished anything. I've been learning and being in school until the age of 30. So I still have people on a day-to-day basis tell me what to do, what time to be at work, what time to do this, all that
part
stuff.
Of the system. You're
exactly.
In the system. Yep.
So I'm like a naive, in my opinion, naive kid at age 30, driving up and down Narcoossee while I had a day in between the wedding, looking for a spot. I was like, where can I open a business? And then I saw a sign up that said, for lease, and this is like right next to the pediatric dental office across Valencia. I was like, oh, there's a spot there. And and then so that's the only spot I liked at the three I looked at. And luckily, at that time, the landlord was a retired orthodontist himself, and he was very nice, and he remembered himself in my shoes when he was at my time, and so everything kind of lined up, and so that's kind of when I decided to seal the deal. Yeah.
Chetan Patel, what a great conversation so far.
Yeah.
So from going to school to being a naive kid to now being able to make moves not only for yourself but for your family and for people you're able to help out now.
Yeah.
How many employees do you have now?
In the U.S., we have so here currently I have I have a surgeon that works with me, and then we have about 12 people working in the office.
Beautiful.
And then we have we call them our Colombian family. We have people in Colombia that work with us too.
Virtual assistants.
Virtual assistants, and they only help us. Yeah. So we pay them, and they're an integral part of our team.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So I have pretty much the same. Well, here I got about 150 employees, but I work with my team right here from my social media, my personal brand. I have people in Colombia as well, and it's great. I think it's actually perfect just because you're able to see some people here, talk to them here, but then you have the virtual, they're doing some stuff behind the scenes, and it's incredible. But to be able to run a business is not something easy. A lot of people just think, hey, listen, I'm gonna just run the business. I see a sign, I'm gonna go get it, and here I'm gonna open up the doors. What was that process like for you? Because having 12 people, there's systems that has to be implemented. Once again, going back to the conversation, you said, hey, listen, I went to school for I don't know how many years, and now I'm 30 years old. I'm very naive, but I still have this thing in me saying, hey, you have to own your business. You have to go and do your own practice. That's a lot. That's a lot more than just saying, hey, listen, I just want to open this thing up.
It's a whole, for me, it was an entire whole second full-time job.
Right.
Figuring out, learning on the go, making mistakes. I remember when I first opened doors, and like, I don't know anything about insurance, and I'm paying these people like thousands of dollars to help me get credentialed with insurance companies, and then I don't learn anything about insurance authorization stuff during residency and stuff, and then I went and excitedly booked my first case. I did it, and then realized I never got paid for it because I didn't know I was supposed to get prior authorization.
Right.
So and then I'm like, and I'm not gonna punish the patient for it. So it's like, I did a lot of goodwill in the beginning. And
goodwill. That's what.
Yeah, and it's look, I really believe in if you're out to do the right thing and you do it with integrity, there's someone above looking out for you.
100%.
And you're going to be taken care of. So you focus on the right thing, focus on the right people, focus on good energy, and taking care of those around you. There's no way you can go wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
You just gotta. Then the mindset has to be there as well as a leader, right? You have to show the example as well. You have to say, this is the way we want to do it. This is the results. This is the system. This is the problems. This is the next solution to everything, right? And I feel like when we're running a business, I see always opportunities when there's something going bad within the business. And every 6 months, just like you deal with authorizations and prior authorizations, I do with the same thing because I'm in the medical field as well, which is mental health. And every 6 months, I go through a cycle of, okay, something happened. I have to create, implement, and do something different, right?
Yes.
Just because there's something happening. There's a new change. So we have to be able to adapt to the changes.
Correct.
A lot of people don't even get to that point or don't even get to experience that.
Yeah.
What do you think that happens? So there's a lot of A students. There's A students that go to school, they do this, they do that, but they plan too much. They think about it too much. They don't want to fail. So everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be structured. They can't make a move if they don't have everything corrected, implemented. They have to have a plan or business plan.
Yes.
I've never did a business plan to start my own business.
I mean,
I just say, listen, you know what? I'm gonna figure this thing out.
Yeah.
I remember when I first got my first clinic, I was asked by the landlord, what is ABA? I didn't know. Applied behavior analysis. Something that small. I said I didn't know. He said, you know what? I'm gonna look at your financials And if the financials make sense, I might have to make some tweaks on the lease, and you might have to come out of pocket a lot more than usual, but I'll give you it. They looked at my financials. Believe it or not, within my business, I never pay myself X amount of dollars. I just say, this is going to be the money that I'll be paying myself just to do what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I pay my wife a little sum as well, but I always kept capital within the business, right? So my business was it was good. At that point, we only had 14 months of operating. We had a couple $100,000 in the account. We were doing pretty okay. So he saw that. He said, you know what? You had to give me this amount out of pocket, whatever. But things like that, like, I never had anything planned.
Yeah.
Ever. I just said, okay, the only thing that I was able to pay out of pocket was books. So I bought multiple books, $10, $15. I had plenty of books. I wanted to learn about finance, mindset, how to operate, how to be a leader, how to show people and sell the vision that I have for the company. And it took me some time. It took me some errors, a lot of money, right? A lot of people, because my retention point wasn't there. What was your experience like? Because once again, it's not
easy. You know,
it's a contact sport.
Really
Running a business is a contact sport.
So as you know, in this area, we have a lot of competition. You know, there's a lot of big hospital systems here, and you know, we are a competitor to them. Although I use their facilities, but you know, they have their own employed surgeons, and people can come to me. And the first 3 years of my practice, you know, I think with any business, it takes 3 to 5 years to hit that stride. And so, you know, for me, my friends would look, you know, from school and stuff, we'd be like, man, you're crazy. I can't believe you're doing this, you know, all this school, and then now you're still not paying yourself. In fact, you took a little bit of a loan out to start your business again. And I'm like, you know, it's just a cost of living life, and you got to do it. And, you know, and so it was hard in the beginning. You know, I did have to eventually put together a business plan to get a loan. I did that. I got approved for a loan. I think one of the biggest things in betting on yourself is also being resourceful. You have to, number one, be willing to believe that people around you want to help you. And not by giving you money, but by giving you advice, by having a conversation with you, talking you through your problems that you're having. And man, I had the best team around me, you know, family, friends, and colleagues. And it's super important. I think having a good relationship with people in your life and continuing those relationships are very important, because you never know when they're going to come in handy. And if you keep a good relationship with people, and if you go back and call on them to help, ask for help, or talk through something, at that point, it's not called, taking advantage of them or being selfish. It's called being resourceful.
Correct.
Now, if you don't ever talk to somebody and you never think, and then out of the blue, you call them, hey man, I need your help. Why? I don't know. You don't even talk to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I was very blessed to have a good team around me to help me get to where I am, make the mistakes, get through them. The hiring people, you know, it all starts with a good team. Yeah. I made a few mistakes in the beginning, but it was great learning for me. Mm-hmm. And even till this day, like I'll throw out the trash. I'll do this. It's just because I have the degree, it doesn't mean I'm incapable of doing human things. And so we do everything at the office, you know, and then eventually after year 2 or 3, I was able to start with my core group of people, and we've built that up, and we have an amazing team now. And you have to lead with that same energy. You know, if you don't lead well, then your business is not going to lead well. Your business family is not going to lead well. And
tell me how big the business happens to be. I'll tell you what kind of leadership.
Yeah,
happens to be
exactly
in front of that team, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the most important things, because you lead by example. Yeah. Right? Nobody's better than anybody here. Yep. Out here to do the job. And we're gonna get this thing done. And this is gonna be the system, this is the target, and we all have to work for that target. Yep. Nothing else. There's nothing else in there, right? And I feel like a lot of people don't get that, man. It's hard for them not to understand it. To me, running a business, I want to run a business as simple as possible. So instead of, because I learn from my mistakes, right? The more mistakes I made, the better I get. So I've learned to be capable of loving mistakes. I want to make mistakes. I want to do something incorrectly because I know I'll have a better outcome.
Yeah.
Right. But going back to what you said, do you think having those relationships was a trade-off of all those years of studying and the school and this and that? Because it's the people that you went to school with. I'm pretty sure the people that
No,
besides your family,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. I mean, there's the not necessarily people I went to school with, but it's people that trained me.
Really?
And I've kept, so a lot of the people I was blessed to train with were also private practice surgeons, and so I was able to bounce a lot of ideas off them, learn the ins and outs, what to do, what not to do, and I had other colleagues that owned practices that I knew, some were family, some were friends, and so I had a good group of people to lean on. My brother for sure. I mean, he was the biggest one.
This is your older brother?
My older brother, yeah.
Okay.
And I only have one brother, and but he's next level. He's always been there for me, and he really set the tone for what I need to do.
We have that in common. I was the one that actually did the business.
Mm-hmm.
My brother, he's my older brother. He was working, but I was able to pull them out of his job after 2 years of practicing. And I said, you know what, I'm going to give you an opportunity to work with me. And it's been great.
That's good.
But my brother has always been there for me as well. So
Yeah.
we shared that for
That's
sure.
good. It's
And my
important,
brother's
man.
always there. I always call him, hey, listen, what do you think? What do you think? And now we're able to work together, make
Yeah.
decisions together. So he's now part of the company, and it's
good.
awesome to be
That's
able to
awesome.
work. How do you differentiate that? A lot of people have problems with working with family.
Well, luckily him and I, we don't. Our practices are totally different.
Correct.
So what he does and I do. So I mean, that's that. But I think as far as going into an actual business together, we really haven't.
Were you ever?
Haven't had any.
Were you ever?
Would I? I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. What we have right now is two spots. Unless we're like both, silent partners in something, or go into something together where we're not actively managing it. That's different. We have some of that.
Have you diversified at all outside of the business?
A little bit of real estate. So I own we own our building, which was fortunate enough to do that.
Commercial business,
commercial,
loan, all of that stuff right there, leasing it back to your own business. So tax write-off, everything write-off, everything comes back to you. Cash flow, beautiful. Anything else that you do? Any tax benefits? Anything else? Tell me a little bit more. I feel like you got a lot more of that.
I wish, aside from running the business part, my wife is also an entrepreneur. So, using her, luckily we were staggered, right? So I was going on for like 5-6 years. And then about 2.5 years ago, she started her practice. She's an optometrist. And so, that was, as far as taxes go, that was our best thing for us, because starting a new business, taking those losses, and it's just been good for us as far as the past 2-3 years for that. Yeah.
I think as business owners, you got to learn how to
rinse and repeat.
Taxes. You want to make the most amount of money and pay the least amount of money at the end of the year. And honestly, that's 80% of the tax book actually tells you things not to pay taxes.
Yeah.
So you got to learn that stuff, right? So go out there and get you a book on taxes for sure, because it's impressive to actually be able to read it.
Yeah.
Religion,
I'm Hindu, but aside from being Hindu, I think the most important thing that I lead my life with is having faith. I don't like to never discriminate between religions. So I think that if you can, I think it's important to have faith in life, in a higher being, that someone is there looking for you, and using that faith to help you do the right thing and make the right decisions, keeping you away from bad energy. I think it's very important.
I just think that being an entrepreneur is, I would say, is the spot where you have to be the most faithful human
100%.
being out there, because you want something you haven't been able to experience or see a lot of the times, which are your goals with the business on its own, right? You see the business 10 years, 20 years from now, you're like, I want to have X amount of clinics, X amount of this, X amount of that, but then you have to have faith to be able to do that, because you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen, right?
I don't know.
And that's the thing about being in control of your time. which is what you're getting right now from your business, your time, family, right? And then opportunities that you can give out to people. But the most uncertain thing about running a business is not knowing what could happen tomorrow. And I think that's a blessing that we can all share. Because a lot of people want the common things. I want a 9 to 5. I want to be a surgeon and work 40, 50 hours a week and get paid this amount a year and done. I'm done. I'm good with that. But we say no to that stuff. We say, even though I'm a surgeon, like yourself, great surgeon, by the way, I want to own my own practice. And I want to be able to not have any limits. And that's where you come in as an entrepreneur and say, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing and freaking just take this to the next level.
I couldn't agree more. I think, I don't think it's a fault to having to do the other thing. It just comes down to your own personality and what your outlooks are, right? So, you know, to do whatever you do in life and then go out and get a job, if that's your, you know, personality and that's what's good for you. Some people need that structure given to you by other people. I think that's great. But then there's another subset of people who are like us, who, you know, we're like, we don't like to be in a cage.
No.
You know, nobody can tell us how to run our life and what to do. And it's good, you know, and it's a nice thing because, you know, we get to do what we do. At the same time, we are able to create jobs for other people who then those people can support their families. So it's a gift that keeps giving if you do it right, you know?
Do it right. You think anybody out there can potentially run a business, or you think that's something that
Run my business?
Run any business. You think anybody can do
it? I think that the skills that you have in running a business can translate into any business. I think you can learn a business of what's happening as long as you have the right tools, the right personality to do it. I mean, I think it happens all the time. People are running a certain business, all of a sudden they, you know, sell that business and buy another completely different business, and they're still able to run it successfully. And some of that comes down to the person's personality and their willingness to learn something new. And I think that's a good thing. You know, people do that all the time. If someone were to come in and, you know, take over my practice and run me, I don't think I'd like that, but
yeah, exactly. But I think if people really wanted to do something, they can go and get it done.
Yeah.
Human beings we were created to be able to create ourselves. And I don't follow any religions whatsoever. I believe in God, and that's all I need. Right. That's my faith. That's Him. So we give everything to Him. Everything is because of Him. There's nothing else, right? A lot of people follow Christianity, Catholic, and Hindu. Yeah. Like, I have a friend of mine that happened to work out with them, and he's great. He's from India as well. He said you have to be able to meet the Creator. We always talk about religion. He's really good and eloquent about everything he talks about religion-wise. And I say to him, I just believe in the one. There's the one up there literally guiding me in every decision that I happen to make, and everything that's happening is because of what he wants to happen, right? But now taking it back to your kids. Are you doing this for... What would their future look like? Are you trying to set the path for them so they have a better future than you did? Are you going to be asking them to go to school? Is that going to be a requirement for you? Like, how do you take what you experienced to be able to go to school, to be able to go and create your own practice, to be successful as you are? But now having kids is totally different. There's not a book out there that will tell you, hey, listen, this is the way to be able to, you know, have successful kids, for instance. But what do you think about that? What are your plans with the kids? Because you have
I have a boy and a girl,
girl.
8-year-old boy, 5-year-old girl. You know, it's a very difficult question to answer. You know, when I was growing up, I can tell you that I was blessed that my parents did everything they could to give my brother and I whatever we needed. And sorry about that. Primarily, that was anything we needed to live safely, live peacefully. You know, have a good education. We got all that stuff. We even got some luxuries. My dad took us on vacations and this and that. But you know, working hard was never a option. It was something that was ingrained in him and ingrained into us through that. So I'd say that, you know, growing up, my dad's primary thing to us, just because of, them moving from there to here, from India to here, and having the hardships that they did. For them, for my generation, it was to make sure that we were educated, so that we have open doors to go to the next step.
Got it.
Now we're at the crossroads with our kids. It's like, okay, so now we have the education, but now at the same time, everything's changing as far as you can go and have an amazing education. That doesn't mean you're going to have enough food and money to feed your family.
Correct.
It's different now.
Yes.
The cost of living is different. And so many things are different. So for me to, in regards to my kids, I think it's going to be kind of like a hybrid model, right?
Okay.
Obviously, we're saving up and stuff, so hopefully our kids are going to be okay no matter what. But that's not what I want them to depend on. I want them to be on their own feet. And so education is definitely important to me. If my son decided to become a surgeon and take over mine, or my daughter, I mean, that would be the ultimate blessing. I'd love that.
Beautiful.
To be able to work together. But you can't force this career on anybody,
Right.
So, but I want them to, I think the luxury that we have now is that we can allow our kids, as long as they're making good social decisions, they can guide themselves as to what they like,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can help them get to the next step.
If you were to talk to somebody that is currently going to school, like yourself,
Mhm.
back at 19, 20 years old, and they don't see a way out, they think it's too long of a wait, 10 years,
Yeah.
5 years of going to school, 8 years, whatever the case may be, what would you tell them to make sure they just keep on going, because there's a better, it's a better ending to that
if
story?
if they're 19, 20 and already don't want to do that, I would not force that on them. No way.
But if they took the option to do it,
To do it.
but yet they're like, man, I don't know if this is the thing for me. Because you felt like that at any point.
Yeah, I for me, it was, undergrad, I didn't feel like that. Med school, I when I got into med school, I took that opportunity and I ran with it. I did so good in school. I had a great time in med school, but I really worked hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say that for people who are kind of in that gray zone and get in and aren't sure, and I think they'll figure it out once they just get into it. They got to start. You could always make a change if you wanted to, but I think if they decided to go through it, I think that it's a wonderful career.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Lastly, let's go over your services.
Yeah.
What do you do? Tell the audience so they can might go to
So
here in Lake Nona and go visit you, man.
So Lake Nona, it's a destination. It's going to be a destination
100%.
for healthcare,
Yeah.
So my practice is Orlando Minimally Invasive Surgery. So we focus on robotic and minimally invasive surgery for all sorts of abdominal cavity disorders. So everything kind of in here. That includes things like gallbladders, hernia surgery, colon, so colon cancer, problems with your colon. We do upper abdomen stuff, which would be, for weight loss, we do bariatric surgery, so gastric bypass, gastric sleeve. We do surgery for reflux, so people that have bad heartburn or hiatal hernia, we treat that surgically. And then we do other types of cancer too, like thyroid cancer, breast cancer. So that's kind of that part. Doing what we do as an entrepreneur, where our minds are always spinning. And then so a couple of years ago, the idea came up that during my son's soccer practice, actually, we were talking, some of the dads were talking, and literally a hair transplant came up. And, we were like, there's no one here doing it. There's people in Orlando, but nobody like in Lake Nona.
Mm-hmm.
And by this time, now I have space in my office, and we were talking when I left that day, I was like, you know what, I'm going to look into this. What's the downside in it?
Mm-hmm.
And so I looked into it, and that was my next business. I just started it. So you were asking earlier, there is no school for hair transplant surgery, right? So, you can do, all you need is a MD or a DO to do a hair transplant surgery.
Right.
And so at that point, I didn't have any experience in it, but I know enough about starting a business. So that was just, I started it right there.
Beautiful.
It's easy because, I don't, it's low overhead to start. I already had existing space. We just kind of created the brand, and and did it. And just like any other business, it's growing. It's slow right now, but it's going to grow with time. And so now we do hair transplant. That's called Orlando Robotic Hair Restoration.
Beautiful.
And so we help people with hair loss, and now nobody has to fly to Turkey.
I might have to pay you a visit, man.
Yeah, man. You're good, man. Yeah.
Last thing, man. Last thing. Great interview right here. Honestly, I love to talk to you more for sure.
Absolutely.
We are neighbors. We met through this whole accident, if I'm not mistaken, right? You stop one of those days. You say, "Hey, man, what happened to your Lambo?" I'll tell you about it. You have a beautiful car. I always tell you the same thing. Beautiful Maybach. What do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
So career-wise for me, I just turned 40. So by 50, I want to just work because I like to work. Okay. So I really do love what I do surgically. I do feel like it's a blessing to be able to help people and things like that. But I do a lot of ER call and things like that. So I want to try to minimize all that and basically just do elective surgery. I want to, by that time, by 45, 50, I'm hoping to have enough infrastructure where, I'm able to run a very well-oiled business while having other surgeons and giving them the opportunity, for people who don't want to start their own practice, but at least they have a good opportunity in a private practice setting where they have some autonomy. They're not employed by a hospital, and they don't have any rules to follow. They don't have to make certain budgets, things like that. You basically make what you make because that's what you did. Correct. Right? That's how. That's the difference, right? And hopefully, my next, I want to focus on health a lot this year or this decade for me. I want to, my 20s and 30s was really dedicated to training in my practice. Not enough. Didn't pay much attention to my health. And so I really want to make that a priority these next 10 years.
Beautiful, man.
Stay young for my kiddos.
100%. I can't wait to see it. We'll be talking for sure. Great conversation. Thank you for being here, my friend.
Yo, Ramon, thank you.